Hi, this is Steve McDaniel again, and I'm concluding like a four-part series, so you're not going to be getting these pretty much every day like you have been for a while, but I just wanted to give you some of the basic issues that a lot of people need to know about and deal with regarding home insurance. Of course, you'll be continuing to hear from me from time to time through my monthly newsletter and other communications that I'll be sending you. But these are real important areas, so I wanted to make sure we covered these. First of all, today I want to conclude by talking about the fact that home insurance is not all created equal. As I mentioned in my very first intro video to you, there's more to insurance than the price. There's value, and the policies vary as widely as the sculpture of the land. It's just a huge variety of coverages and types of policies available. So I'm just going to kind of go over some of those right now. These are some of the most common distinctions. One is named perils versus all risk policies. There are a lot of both kinds. A named peril policy is often referred to as an HOA type policy. You know, it can be known under other names as well, but basically what that policy says is it's not insured unless it's specifically listed. Okay, so think about that. If it's not in the policy and it doesn't say that it's covered, then it's not. By contrast, an all-risk policy says it is covered unless it is specifically excluded. So if you look at trying to get to the 50-yard line of a football field, and that's where you want to be, that's the coverage you want, you can actually get there with either policy. There are agents out there that'll say, oh, HOA policies are absolutely no good, you don't ever want them. Other people will say HOB policies or the all-risk policies, HO3s, they're numbered, you know, they're named different things. They say, well, you're paying for a lot of coverage you don't need if you have that. Basically, they're just two different ways to get where you want. You can have an HOA policy that includes all the stuff that you want and still have a great policy. By the same token, you can have an all-risk policy that excludes a bunch of stuff, and you're at the same place. So it's basically of knowing what that policy covers. Is it going to cover what you are concerned about and what you feel is likely to happen to your home and provide you with the protection that you need. So neither one's good or bad. They're just two ways to get to the same place. Another big distinction, replacement cost versus actual cash value. Huge thing, huge event. I had a person call me once that had been insured with another company, and they were highly upset because they didn't know until they had a claim that they had an actual cash value policy. And the reason why that was a huge deal is because they had a kitchen fire and their cabinets all completely burned up. Well, it just so happens they had replaced those cabinets 10 years ago. The adjuster comes in and says, okay, well, these are 20-year cabinets, so they're halfway used up anyway. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the original amount you paid for these cabinets, what we deemed they were worth at the time you bought them. We're going to cut that in half. Since they're half used up anyway, we're going to pay you that other half of what they're worth. Well, not only did she not get today's replacement cost value, she got half of what they originally cost. So she ended up with about 20 to 30% of what it cost to replace her kitchen cabinets. So you think it's not important to know what your policy covers? It is very important. Needless to say, she was not a very happy person. And again, she had an actual cash value type policy. Homeowner policies versus dwelling policies. You know, if you live in the home, you need a homeowner's policy. The dwelling policy is primarily used for rental homes. So if you have rental property, you know, this is not allowed here. You need to change to a policy that's designed for renters or non-owners to live in those. Another distinction is condo policies. If you have a condo, that's where the policy covers everything from the exterior wall studs in, and you normally have a homeowners association that will cover the exterior structure. Special policies for that, and there are different variations of those. And of course your renter's insurance policies. If you're a renter. A lot of apartments and places are now requiring renter's insurance because they're concerned about the liability portion. So I want to make sure you've got enough liability coverage, but it's a good idea to have that to cover your own contents anyway. So that's just barely a highlight of this. I mean, there are so many distinctions I could go into that separates what a policy does and does not cover. I know when you're purchasing the insurance, it may not seem quite as important, but when you have that loss, it is very important to know that you've got the coverage that you need. So we can look at that. Feel free to ask me any questions about that. We'll go into that, and I'll definitely be wanting to help you with that, because I don't want you as my client to have any unpleasant surprises when it comes claim time. And another thing we haven't even talked about are deductibles. Some companies watch out for that, because some companies won't allow less than a 2% deductible for your clause 1, which has to do with your wind and hail deductible. Some will require you to have 2% or higher, and that's not 2% of what the claim is. That's 2% of what the replacement cost value is. So look for that. Ask me any questions you have. I am here to help you make a good decision, so that when the time comes for you to file that claim, that you don't have any unpleasant surprises and have a good experience.